Responses because almost all the action is happening inside the compound. From what we could gather earlier on, from what we understood all throughout the day, is that the police officers were insistent that that Jimmy Wanjigi is inside the compound, and it is actually today, this morning, that they have actually gained access inside the house. All through yesterday up to today, this morning, it is the first time that they gained access. They managed to get into the house after they had gotten the search warrant this morning. So the information we're going through, we're going with, is that since yesterday they did not have a search warrant to be here, and it is today that they had that warrant and that they managed to get inside the house. However, ever since that ruling was given by the court, there has not been much any difference of activity from what has been happening here since morning. Everything has actually been just the same. There have been officers getting in and getting out. The problem is journalists have not been allowed nearer to the gate to find out what is happening inside the compound. However, the video that has been circulating that we managed to get a hold on earlier on was that the police had started trying to gain access into several rooms in the compound in their search of whatever it is that they're looking for. Remember, until now, they have not informed us what it is exactly they're looking for and why it is that they seek to arrest Jimmy Wanjigi from these premises. We have been made to understand that the politicians, the lawyer representing Jimmy Wanjigi, that is James Orengo, would be coming here with that court order to serve it upon the police who are conducting the operation here, so that it may be implemented, because we understand that court order has been seeking to stop any damage of the property that has been taking place here, and not to arrest Jimmy Wanjigi if indeed he is in the premises, as the police and many other people who are around here seem to believe. Mark?
Well, with what you've given us in terms of the activity going on, there seems to be either they're ignoring the High Court order that either stops the damage of the property of businessman Jimmy Wanjigi, and his arrest, actually, it's been put on hold till October 19th.
Well, it would be strong to say that they are ignoring it, because one would assume that once a court order has been given, then it has to be served on the parties who are actually implementing an earlier order which they had. From our own observations, we have not seen any change of tactic of what has been happening. We have not seen the police officers leaving the premises because they are inside there. Remember, the order for a search had not been withdrawn, so they are still we would assume that they are still doing the search inside there, but they have not been served with that order to stop any damage of property, or the order not to arrest Jimmy Wanjigi. We can't really say at this moment that they have ignored this order, because we do not know whether that order has been served on them.
I'm sure you'll keep tabs on that as the activities continue. And yes, with the latest there being that the High Court has granted Wanjigi a 50,000 shilling anticipatory bail and has blocked his arrest until October 19th, and has warned the police against destruction of the businessman's property. We will see what becomes of that particular order. Now, the High Court has also suspended a decision by Acting Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i to ban public demonstrations called by NASA. The Justice Chacha Mwita further restrained the Inspector General of Police from arresting NASA CEO Norman Magaya over the ongoing demonstrations against the IEBC officials. The judge said that from the application presented to court by Magaya, it has been shown that Matiang'i's directive was unlawful. Justice Mwita further ordered that the DPP should not enter prosecution against Magaya pending the hearing of and determination of the constitutional application before court. Magaya moved to court seeking orders to quash the decision of the CS to ban public demonstrations, saying the move is against fundamental rights and freedoms as enshrined in the Constitution. Meanwhile, the National Super Alliance says it will take legal action against any police officer caught executing torturous acts against any of demonstrators taking part in the coalition nationwide anti-IEBC protests. This comes after the High Court lifted CS Fred Matiang'i's directive ban on picketing for the opposition. The court has further restrained policemen from arresting the NASA CEO Norman Magaya. Addressing the media on Tuesday afternoon, the NASA team made up of its lawyers and legislators took the opportunity to condemn the ongoing extrajudicial executions on Kenyans by the police. The NASA coalition will hold a mega rally at Kamukunji grounds.
Once again, the judiciary has struck a blow for constitutionality and the rule of law in this country, reminding those in power today that their minions like Matiang'i, that the Kenyan people are free people with rights that cannot be taken away at their whims.
The political crisis that the country has cannot be solved through the gun and will not be solved by the use of brutal force or by use of dictatorial sentiments from the cabinet secretary. He must wake up to the reality that the country is in a serious political crisis that will take more than dictates from his office to quell.
The National Police Service Act makes it very clear that torture is an offense for which a police officer can be jailed for 25 years. And if you subject a Kenyan, the way we have seen in those videos, to human and degrading treatment, it is an offense jailable by a term of 15 years. And as Norman has said, we are putting together and encouraging members of the public who have been victims of this brutalization so that we institute private prosecutions against individual members of the police force.
Meanwhile, Jubilee members of parliament are asking NASA leaders to put an end to the demonstrations that they say have turned into unruly riots. The representatives, inclusive of Dagoretti South Member of Parliament John Kiarie, Kirinyaga Women Representative Purity Wangui and Laikipia Women Representative Catherine Waruguru, say the security forces should prosecute the rioters.
When you lose an election, what you do is you go home and get ready for the next election. But in Kenya, there is a trend that when you lose an election, you start looking for how you will cause chaos so that you get into a negotiating table so that you find your way into government. And that has been a constant for NASA. Be someone who is willing to stop an election by whichever means. And I think the only means that you can stop an election would be violence and chaos, which I've said has been a constant with the NASA agitators. Then is an illegality, because you will be a criminal stopping an election.
A petitioner challenging the election of Mombasa Woman Representative Asha Hussain has been allowed to file an application seeking to have a judge recuse herself from the case. Through his lawyer, Saad Yusuf Saad told the court that he felt uncomfortable with Justice Mugure Tande hearing the petition due to a ruling in which another petition was dismissed on Friday by the judge. Separately, in another election court, Justice Njoki Mwangi directed a voter challenging the election of Changamwe Member of Parliament Omar Mwinyi, the IEBC and the MP to put additional seals on ballot boxes starting Saturday. Mohammed Mahmoud Ali, who is challenging the election of Omar, claims that the election in Changamwe was not conducted in accordance with the Constitution. The petition is expected to be heard starting Monday next week. Away from the politics, Nakuru County's First Lady Elizabeth Kinyanjui is asking for cancer screening to be made compulsory at all public health facilities as the county marks its Cancer Awareness Week. Speaking at the beginning of a three-day free cancer screening campaign at the Nakuru Hospice, the county First Lady said the county government is committed to making cancer awareness and palliative care a priority, as cancer is currently ranked third as a death-causing disease in the country. Cancer survivors at the event highlighted the importance of early and frequent screening as key in winning the fight against cancer. The free cancer screening ends on Thursday, October being a world-recognized month to create cancer awareness.
Cancer is a cell that is in our body. It is just part of us. But what we do is that we manage it. Tunajaribu kuifanya isizidi kiwango cha maisha yetu. Tunaikanyagia wapi? Chini.
And in my opinion, screening ought to be made mandatory. Just as we have immunization for children, we tell our mothers, as soon as your child is born, give them polio vaccine, isn't it? As soon as they are 6 weeks old, do this. We need to do the same for cancer. Doctors tell us that at certain ages, we are more prone to certain cancers. And our call is for all responsible persons to make screening mandatory in the country. Let us not be caught unawares.
Water and Irrigation Principal Secretary Zainab Hussain says the ministry will investigate why more than 5 boreholes sunk in Ganze Kilifi County to address water shortage have not functioned since they were drilled more than a year ago. Addressing the press in Rabai sub-county after inspecting the status of the Jimba Water Dam, the PS said the boreholes ought to be serving the community and wondered why they have not been completed. Ganze sub-county is one of the regions that have been hard hit by water shortage, forcing locals to trek for over 30 kilometers. Let's now cross over to Wilson Airport, where NASA leaders are giving a presser. There was some trouble in Lare between Jubilee and NASA supporters. Perhaps this is one of the issues they will be addressing.
Okay, we want to, I'll read a short statement which deals with the cancellation of our planned trip to Meru. And then thereafter, our leader will make some remarks beyond this statement. As you are well aware, NASA was set to visit Lare in Meru County today. We have had to cancel that visit because of the poor security and outright violence that rocked that place ahead of our visit. The violence and the deterioration in security were not spontaneous. They were all sponsored by Jubilee Party and the state. In fact, police openly provided protection to youths who had been ferried to the venue while lobbing tear gas at NASA supporters. We have campaigned in Meru for decades. We know the people well, and we know our level of support among the residents. In fact, the visit planned for today had been requested by residents, and we thank them wholeheartedly for their continued support despite intimidation and blackmail. But Jubilee, ever scared of open, free and fair contest, is determined to lock certain parts of the country and declare them, or purport to declare them, no-go zones for the opposition. Old habits die hard. That attempt to lock and declare certain parts of the countries as Jubilee zones is a carryover from the KANU days when certain parts were declared KANU zones, protected and supervised by KANU youth wingers and YK-92 Brigade. Those YK-92 habits have resurrected strongly in Jubilee, lately in the form of paid defections, harambes, delegations to State House. They are now being used to block opposition from meeting and addressing the people. These state-funded acts of violence are happening at a time opposition leaders have had their security withdrawn, and also at a time the state is openly arming and dressing thugs to work with police against NASA. This is a further indication that Jubilee is determined to remain in power by every means, and that the so-called elections, supposedly on the 26th of October, are mere formalities. Uhuru Kenyatta and Jubilee are keen to install a dictatorship. Kenyans must take note that we are witnessing a massive and rapid deterioration of the political situation. The gains are rapidly being eroded and replaced by a dictatorship. We appeal to all Kenyans to be ready to resist this backward trend and refuse to be drawn into ill-conceived ethnic blocs just to help Jubilee roll out a dictatorship. What President Kenyatta can rest assured of is that we shall not accept intimidation. We will not sit back and watch them erode the gains made at a great cost and pain. We will fight back. Uhuru must know we have come too far to walk backwards. We are ready for a battle with him on all fronts. Kenyans must resist Uhuru and his plan to reintroduce dictatorship. End of statement.
Well, that statement is self-explanatory. You can see this team here, Honorable Dabadi, Honorable Joho, Honorable Wanga, Honorable Junet, Honorable Savula, Honorable Sharif Nasir, Honorable Elsa Pasaris. There was Honorable Mpurkel, who was supposed to be picked at Nanyuki airstrip. So, and there's also an advanced party, which is already on the ground, consisting of local leaders from Meru, who had gone to great pains to plan this meeting today. And this was supposed to be a conversation between us and the people of Meru as NASA, which has now been cancelled by Jubilee. The information from the ground that one OCPD, one Mr. Kimani, and one OCS, Mr. Wamai, were the ones who were leading the charge on the ground, throwing tear gas as innocent NASA supporters who had gathered on the ground to welcome us. This is what we call state-sponsored thuggery, which is very unfortunate indeed at this time of electioneering. So, but as the statement has said, NASA remains committed to move forward despite a concerted determination by the Jubilee administration to try to intimidate our supporters. We have other plans. Tomorrow we are going to have a rally at Kamkunji, grounds in Kamkunji constituency, in order that we can be able to talk to the people of Nairobi once again tomorrow. On Thursday, we will be going to Turkana County to go and commiserate with the people of Turkana for the unfortunate incidences that they have had lately, but also to explain ourselves the people of Turkana. On Friday, we will be having a morning session. As you know, 3 innocent young men were shot and killed in cold blood by police in Bondo. There's going to be a service for those with their souls on Friday. The same day, we'll also have a service for the young student who was shot dead while selling ice cream in Kisumu yesterday. So instead of really celebrating Masujadi, we are going to be mourning these innocent Kenyans whose lives have been cut short by uncaring, angry government, the bloodthirsty government. On Saturday, we will have different functions in different parts of the country, and the same with on Sunday. On Monday, the program is going to be released going forward. We want to say that we as NASA are very, very clear about what we want. We said we don't want to go for an election without proper reforms. We don't want to escort Jubilee to the altar. We want, if Jubilee wants to have a proper contest, they will have it. If they want to go themselves to the elections, then it's going to be a Jubilee selection. It will not be an election of the Republic of Kenya. Kwa muhtasari, tumesema kwa hii statement leo tulikuwa tumepanga tuwe na mkutano muhadhara kule Meru County katika mji wa Lare. Hii mkutano ilikuwa imepangwa na viongozi wa Meru. Ndio walikuwa wametualika tuende tuongee na Wameru. Na walikuwa wametumia gharama mingi sana kufanya panga hiyo mkutano. Wananchi walikuwa wamekuja kwa wengi. Lakini Jubilee wamepanga wale majambazi kuja kuvurugika mkutano wetu. Walikuja na mapanga na marungu wakisindikizwa na askari. Vijana wetu walipowafukuza, polisi wakarudi na tear gas wakarushia wananchi ambao walikuwa wameketi chini wakituongoja sisi tufike. Tangu kuanzia saa 5 mpaka saa 9 kumekuwa na hiyo vurugu ikiongozwa na OCPD eneo hiyo anaitwa Bwana Kimani na OCS ambaye anaitwa Bwana Wamai. Walikuwa nasema tumepata amri kutoka juu. Yaani hiyo inaonyesha kwamba walikuwa na amrishwa kutoka huko juu. Bwana Boynet anaweza kusema polisi wanatumiwa vibaya kwa mambo ya kisiasa, lakini katiba mpya na sheria imesema polisi inatakikana wasilengee upande moja upande mwingine. Polisi inatakikana wawe wastani bila kupendelea upande moja upande mwingine. Tumeona polisi wakajiingizwa kwa mambo ya siasa kupigania kwa upande mmoja, na hiyo tumewaambia Bwana Boynet, yale ambayo wewe mwenyewe unafanya utakuja kujuta. Wakenya hawezi kuvumilia. Walijaribu huko mbele, hawakuweza. Hata wakati huu watajaribu, lakini hawatafua dafu. Tuna hakika ya kwamba Wakenya wataweza kukubali kurudishiwa kwenye utawala ya udikteta kama vile ilifanyika enzi ile ya kwanza, enzi ya pili, na mpaka sasa wakatukaleta yale mabadiliko. Kwa hivyo sisi kama wananasa tutazidi na mpango wetu. Kesho tutakuwa na mkutano wa hadhara hapo Kamkunji Grounds, upande wa Kamkunji karibu pale Ziwani na Shauri Moyo. Alafu kesho kutwa tutaelekea upande wa Turkana. Kitoka huko siku ya Ijumaa ambayo itakuwa ni siku ya mashujaa, tunavyojua tuko na huzuni katika taifa letu. Kwa hivyo haitakuwa sherehe kwa wengi wa Kenya. Kule Bondo walipiga vijana 3 risasi na wakaua kinyama. Tutakwenda kwa sherehe ya kuombea wale vijana. Alafu keshowe tutakuwa Kisumu, manake jana mtoto mdogo ambaye anaenda kwenye shule alikuwa anasubiri kwenda kufanya mtihani alipigwa na risasi na polisi na akawawa akiuza ice cream. Tutakuwa na sherehe ya kumkumbuka hiyo kijana. Alafu Jumamosi tutagawanyana, wengine wataenda pande hii na pande ile nyingine. Na Jumapili mpango hiyo yote sasa itatangazwa na makao makuu yetu ya kampeni. Hiyo ndio taarifa yetu ya siku ya leo.
Now, the question is, I have 3 questions. One question. Yeah, where are the demonstrations called off? And 2, during the memorial of Kenyatta's founding, Kenyatta Senior, you say that you will be ready to call Uhuru when there's a crisis, and there has been talks that you should be engaging in a talk. Are you ready to do so? And there is also another conception that probably this no reform, no elections campaigns that are happening is just a way of you campaigning for the October 26th elections. Maybe you can shed light on those things.
First, we are doing rallies and combining with demonstrations. And as you know that the court has today already set aside that order by Mr. Matiang'i. And they have said that our demonstrations are going to be peaceful. And they are going to be peaceful. And we will ensure that there is no destruction of property of anybody. And the demonstrations are a people's right constitutionally. So we will be combining, as I've mentioned. Tomorrow we will be in Kamkunji. Then on Thursday, we're going to be in Turkana. On Saturday, we're going to be in Siaya and in Kisumu. On Monday, I'd forgotten this, we are going to be in Nyamira and in Kisii counties on Monday.
So demonstrations have not been called off?
It's not been called off. We're now doing rallies, and there will also be demonstrations. So what we are trying to tell the police and the government is to stop this wanton killing of innocent people. This is something that is completely apprehensible, and is something that is detestable, that the police should be sent to shoot to kill very innocent people who are merely exercising their democratic rights. As to dialogue, we are ready all the times. But you've seen Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta all the time saying we are wanting Nusumukati. Because of that, I will never call him, because he will think that I'm trying to get Nusumukati from him. They will say that we cannot be going for Nusumukati when we actually deserve the entire loaf. We have earned it. So we will not go to Jubilee to beg. And that's why I've told Mr. Ruto, no Nusumukati. And I told him, and I want to repeat again here, he is the one who came with this idea of Nusumukati, Mr. William Ruto. He, in that delegation, and Salem Davadi will bear me witness, they were together. It's Ruto who came up with that idea. And when they had come to us, me and Kibaki, Kofi Annan only came to ask us about the powers of the Prime Minister. But the whole concept of a grand coalition government came from Mr. William Ruto himself. And when thereafter we agreed and we were negotiating portfolios, the one who asked me to go and ask for the Ministry of Agriculture, he said the Ministry of Agriculture has got the highest number of parastatals, and he wanted to be Minister for Agriculture himself. That's why I made him the Minister for Agriculture. Ikiwa kama kuna mlafi ni Ruto, sio Raila Odinga. Kama kuna mrongo ni Ruto, sio Raila Odinga. Waswahili husema, ati ukweli ikidhihiri, uongo ujitenga.
So you're not ready for direct talks with Uhuru?
No, I'm saying I don't want Nusumukati. That's what I've said. I don't want him to know I don't want Nusumukati. So if he's ready, any day, on free and fair elections, that will be the subject. If he's ready to talk about that, I'm ready. I was ready yesterday, but I'm not ready to go and discuss Nusumukati.
Okay.
What was
that? The other question was on you campaigning under the banner.
No, there's no elections.
Listen to us when we go to the rallies, what we are saying. We are meaning what we are saying, and we are saying what we mean. Thank you.
Okay. You need this? Oh, okay.
Leaders from the National Super Alliance led by Raila Odinga there at the Wilson Airport just after leaving Lare, that is in Igembe North, where there was expected to be a meeting or at least a rally with that NASA leader Raila Odinga says had been called for by locals, but it was disrupted by, among others, according to him, Jubilee supporters and the police officers on the ground. And they were condemning that, but saying that the demos are not off and will be headed to Kamkunji grounds tomorrow and giving their schedule for the rest of the week moving forward. We'll be getting the comprehensive piece and bulletin on this one. Now to a bit of sports.
Premier League top scorers with Bet-In.